In this video, I'm going to show you how to factor this quadratic equation and show you a method so that you can factor all quadratic equations. So the first thing we need to realize is that this is written in standard form, also known as ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? We need to identify which is which. So in our example, a is equal to 1 because the 1 is beside the x squared. B is going to be equal to -1 because that's the coefficient beside the x, -1. And c is going to be equal to -2 because that's the last coefficient. Okay, now that we have this, we can set up the next part, which is a times c is equal to, well, we know that from the orange part above, is 1 times -2, and that equals -2. B, we just take along for the ride. It equals -1, and that equals -1. Okay? Now, we need to take two values. Okay? Two values that when multiplied together and when added together give us AC, which is -2. When added together gives us B, which is -1. Okay, so this value and this value have to be the same, and this value and this value have to be the same. So what are those values? Well, just by looking at it, this one's not too difficult. We can see that -2 and 1, when multiplied together, will give us -2, and -2 plus 1 give us -1. These two are the same. These two are the same. And the equations both work. So we know we have the right numbers. Okay, so that seems like a lot of work. But now that we have those, the rest is pretty simple. We're going to rewrite the equation. So the very original equation, just rewriting it, is x squared minus x minus 2. But we're going to rewrite this. Like I said, we're going to rewrite this equation with the new numbers that we got, -2 and 1. I'll show you how we do that. We're going to expand the equation. So we go x squared, okay, minus 2x. We got the -2 from the last step, plus 1x. We got the +1 from the last step as well. I'll go back to black, minus 2. So all we did was rewrite the equation. The only thing we did is we elongated this part. Okay, and I'll show you why. It's because it's easier to factor. So now what we do is we put brackets around these two terms and brackets around these two terms, and we factor each bracket. So how do we factor the bracket on the left? We have to pull out the greatest common factor, which in this case is x. So we pull that out, and what's left in the bracket? What's left in the bracket is x minus 2. Okay, how do we know that? Well, because x times x gives us x squared, and x multiplied by -2 gives us -2x. Okay, you with me? So the second bracket here is already factored. We can't pull anything out. So we just pull out a 1. And that'll give us x minus 2. Now, we need to pause here and look for something. Are the contents of the two brackets the same? Yes, they are. So we know we're on the right track. Okay? Now, for the last step, to give us our final answer, we need to write two brackets. All right? So what goes in the first bracket here is going to be the contents that are the same of these two brackets. Okay? So we just continue with the equation x minus 2, which again, we got directly from the brackets above. Now what goes in the last brackets here is whatever's left. We have an x and a 1. So we write x plus 1. And that is our final answer. Now, how do we check and make sure that we have done this correctly? Well, we can factor out. So let's do that. X minus 2. I'll write check. Oh, whoops. I'll write check. X minus 2, x plus 1. When we distribute these out, x times x is x squared. X multiplied by 1 is x. X. Negative 2 multiplied by x is negative 2x. And negative 2 multiplied by 1 is negative 2. When we collect like terms in the middle, we can just rewrite that as x squared minus x minus 2. And we know that that's correct because that is the exact equation that we started with at the top. There you go. That's how you factor a quadratic equation. If you use this method on any quadratic equation, it should work as long as it has factors. Okay, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.